Hello everyone, and welcome to Ted-san no Igirisu channel. My name is Ted, and this video is to introduce myself and tell you a bit about this channel, my background and my life in England and Japan. Let's get started. So what is this channel about? This channel is about my life in England and my point of view. I'll be talking about daily life, culture, differences between the UK, Japan, my life, from my own experiences. The UK is made up of 4 countries: England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. But I live in England, so I can't really tell you about those, and even a lot about England, because I live in the southwest. So that is where most I'm going to share. Thank you. Who am I? As I said, I'm Ted. I'm from England, and I've had quite an unusual life over the years. I've lived and worked in many countries, which I'll tell you about later. How old am I? I'm 48 years old. So I have ADHD and dyslexia, so that's why I move around a bit. You probably noticed that in this video. I think I probably got that from when I was young, when I had meningococcal meningitis and septicemia and almost died as a child. So what's my height? My height is 6 foot, which is about 182 centimetres. So what do I do for work? I work in IT and I'm a database administrator lead. What is my marital status? I'm married to a Japanese lady. We have been together for 23 years and married for about 19 years. Do you have children? Yes, I have 2 children, and they're both teenagers. So what qualifications do I have? So when I was young, I did an apprenticeship, started working around 15 years old, and I did an apprenticeship in IT. I didn't get a degree until I was much older. Basically what happened is I was going around the world, as I said, and I decided to come back and do a degree. So I did a degree in archaeology at SOAS, which is the School for Oriental and African Studies, part of the University of London, and it was one of the best universities for the area that I did, and I really enjoyed it. As I said, I don't work in archaeology, but I do like the subject. So it was nice to go back and actually prove that I could do a degree. In the UK, there was always 2 ways of doing things back when I was younger, either apprenticeship or degree. And obviously degrees, you come out with a lot of debt. I didn't want the debt, so I basically did the archaeology degree later. What were my previous jobs? Well, I worked for the RAF for a bit, which is the Royal Air Force, and other institutions within the government. I've worked also in banking and for other software companies, like in accountancy and so on, music industry, and many other areas. When I was younger, I also was a model for 17 magazine in the UK. I also had a part in the Thin Red Line, and in Japan I appeared in a few TV shows. One of them was Kyowa Nani no Hi on Imoroki Telebi, where I played a lawyer for J.K. Rowling's books. And I was introduced to that from my friend who worked in TV industry. So where have I worked in the world? Well, I've worked in Japan, China, many African countries like Tunisia, Egypt, Sudan, Nigeria, South Africa, Namibia, and many others, Nigeria. I also worked in Hong Kong, Singapore, USA, Australia and New Zealand, and went around many other countries. I've lived and worked in around 180 countries. So, have I ever lived in Japan? As I said, I have. I lived in Yokohama, Saitama, and Akita. Part of my life in Japan, I was playing rugby for the Saitama Fighters in Kawagoi. I was the only guy Kokujin in that team. So basically only foreigner. I also recently had a hip replacement, which again sounds quite strange for my age, but I found I have a bone disease. So basically it makes my bones more brittle. Yeah, so as I mentioned, I used to play rugby, which is really funny, like finding out that I've got that bone illness now, because playing rugby I never broke anything, and then literally I just fell outside my house and broke my hip. That's how I got hip replacement, which is very strange, isn't it? So do I speak Japanese? Well, not very well, not fluent. I can understand some Japanese, and I can introduce myself. So, watashi wa Tedo-san desu. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu. So what's my favourite food? Well, I like okonomiyaki. And my hair colour is kind of, I don't know, blonde, and my eye colour is blue. So that I was asked, do I support a football team? Yes, I support Liverpool. But my local team is actually Fulham. But Liverpool I support the most. Which do I prefer, coffee or tea? Well, for me, coffee, which sounds a bit strange because I'm English. A lot of people like tea. So my favourite Japanese word is ikoda. I used to say that a lot to my son when he was growing up in Japan. So basically to call him a good boy. What's my favourite movie? So I would probably say The Goonies. I like The Goonies, but I also like the American Pie movies. They're really funny. So do I like alcohol? Of course, especially Japanese sake and Japanese beer. I really like even Japanese whiskies as well. But what don't I like? Well, probably the worst thing I would say would be natto. I don't like natto. I can eat it, but I don't really like it. So out of all the countries I like the most was Japan and Israel. I really liked Japan for the different sceneries. The people were really friendly. As I said, I played rugby there. Even though I don't speak very good Japanese, I could make a lot of friends. Israel I loved as well. I know it probably sounds a little bit controversial these days with all the problems in Israel, but I found it was very nice. You could go to places like Masada where it'd be like a desert, and then just basically go down from Masada and it's like an oasis. It's a lovely country. So what is my special talent? I can fly an aeroplane. I could fly an aeroplane before I could drive a car. It's really funny, isn't it? What is my ideal type? So I think my ideal type is Neon from Twice. She's very cute. So what is my personality? I would say I'm fun, easygoing, laugh. I like to have a joke and go to the pub and just basically talk and have fun. So am I a good husband? Well, I don't know. I hope I am. But you can never tell, can you? But I guess I must be, because we've been married for 19 years. If I wasn't, then would we be married? I'm not sure. Am I a good dad? I think I am. When my kids were young, I did everything the normal parents did, and I used to coach my son football. When we were in Singapore, I used to coach in a football team there, where I used to take my son. We used to go to rugby, football, swimming, things like that. It's a bit hard now because my kids are grown up. They're like proper teenagers now, so I would always like to do more things with them, but they want to do things on their own. But I think I've been a good dad. My favourite Japanese music is Adhd Hikaru, which I like First Love. I also like Nami Amaro, Amaro Nami, I like her song New Look, and I like Glow, Feel Like Dance, and also ex-Japan. So across all the different genres in Japan, yeah, I like lots of different music. So what do we usually do in spare time? So I usually go for walks. I also write books. So at the moment I've wrote a couple of books. Yeah, but mainly walking, especially where we live. It's a bit like a countryside, so it's quite nice to go for walks in the park. Ask what my dream is. I don't know. I think I've had pretty good life, so yeah. Overall, I don't think I really have a big dream, but I would like to live back in Japan one day, maybe retire in Japan. Asked what do I think of Japanese people? I really like Japanese people. I've never had any problem. I know some people find it hard to make friends with Japanese people, but I never did. As I said, even though I can't speak very good Japanese, at work I had lots of Japanese friends. I still have a lot of Japanese friends. So yeah, I never had a problem at all. So one of the things that I do, which is very English, is gentlemen's club, where you have to go and dress up and you have to recite lines and learn, so on. It's a very English thing, but I think also they have it in a lot of different countries as well. But it's quite fun. Get to meet people, drink, socialise, and meet like-minded people. What do I recommend Japanese people to do in the UK? So I think a lot of people obviously always want to go to like central London and go to things like the Houses of Parliament, Big Ben, so on. But I would recommend trying to go out of the city a little bit, like actually go and see how real people live. I always tried to do this when I was travelling the world. Like actually go and see how the normal people live, try the local food. I know English food's got a bad rep around the world, but I actually think it's quite good. Am I going to Japan this year? Yes, going to Japan in the summer. We try to go once a year if we can. Obviously over COVID that was quite hard, and then obviously when I broke my hip that was quite hard, so I think those couple of we went I think every 2 years, but try to go to Japan at least once a year. So what do I like about England? So I like that it has a good education system. So again, not saying like Singapore and Hong Kong didn't, but I found that it's not as grounded as in the UK. So like you can kind of like here you have more of a voice. I also like that I can go to the parks, and I know again a lot of people say England's not safe, things like that, but I've never had a problem here. My wife's never had a problem here, so I'd say it's relatively safe. It's got everything. I mean, people say it rains all the time, but it doesn't actually rain all the time. It's probably actually one of the least places that rain. If you go onto Wikipedia or anywhere like that and search for which countries rain the most, you'll see that actually England doesn't actually rain that much. I think people just like complaining about the weather, things like that in the UK, which is also makes it quite funny. I think people are very sarcastic